Our guest today on Tape Swap Radio is Expert Timing from Orlando, and we have with us our guests, Katrina, Gibran, and Jeff. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey.
Thank you for having us.
And you just got back from Canada.
We did.
So are you adjusting back to the U.S. culture?
Yeah, and actually temperature-wise, it was a lot colder than we thought it was going to be. We're dumb and in Florida and like, oh, it's summer everywhere. It's fine. But no, it was like 50 degrees, I think, and a little rainy. So yeah, we had to buy some extra. Like I had to buy leggings to put under my pants. When we came back like into Albany, I think it was like a 35, 40 degree difference.
Yeah, it was like
it was pretty
degrees.
Crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Only a few hours makes a huge difference.
I think it's always winter in Canada. That's just
Yeah.
automatically.
So when we got into Canada, the radio said there's 2 seasons in Montreal. Construction season and winter. And they're like, and right now it's both. So I don't know what that means. But
We made it back to Pennsylvania, and we have 3 seasons, so it's construction, winter, and summer.
Yeah.
So it's really hot today here. So hopefully you're adjusting back
Oh, yeah.
to the U.S. and the warm weather.
Oh, yeah, this feels like home. I was excited to put on short sleeve, no jacket.
So you are on tour now. How's everything going? How's it playing out?
It's going well. This is, day 12, maybe? It's been going really well. The first 5 days were with Slingshot Dakota, which is like our favorite band on the planet. So that was really fun. And yeah, the shows have been cool. And Canada was a huge highlight. We've never played internationally, so that was a big deal for us. Yeah, now we're on our way headed back home, and we played Lancaster tonight.
Have any of you played in bands that have gone outside of the country before?
no.
No.
Nope.
This is the first one.
I've never played in a band that's been out of the South.
Oh, okay. So for people that don't know Expert Timing, what can they expect coming to one of your shows?
I think a lot of fun, posy vibes, hopefully. A good time, just kind of upbeat, fun music. We try to just like give 110% every show. Yeah, good times.
That's great. You mentioned Slingshot Dakota from here in Bethlehem. They're one of the guests that we've had before at our shows, and we did a Shards session with them. So I heard that your first ever show was with Slingshot Dakota. Is that right?
Yes. Somehow our first show was with Slingshot and Dikembe, which are 2 very, very good bands. And that was the first time I ever sang like on a mic at a show. I was like, I have to sing in front of Carly. And I was like terrified, but then she's the best and was totally fine.
Yeah, so Katrina and I were in a different band, and our singer moved away, and we got asked to play that show in our old band, and we were like, well, we're going to put something together. And this is the band that got put together.
Yeah, we wrote like 5 songs, and we're like, all right, here we go. And that's how Expert Timing was born.
Yeah.
So now, what is it, about 4 or 5 years later? How long has it been
It's
going?
like 3 years.
3 years?
Just like a little over 3. Gibran's been with us for like 2 of those. So
What were you saying? Tonight is our 100th show?
yes,
I
tonight
think?
is our 100th show.
Wow, congratulations.
No, I'm like, we should get a cake or something.
Yeah, totally. Well, you got a tape swap session out of it. So Gibran, coming into this band with Katrina and Jeff, how was it coming in and playing with them?
Out of the bands I've played in, this is definitely the smoothest, the kind of the easiest. Because Jeff and Katrina are married. A lot of the hard work they kind of do on their own at home, and basically all I have to do is get sent a demo or some sort of recording, and then be there to play. So it's a lot. It's I love it a lot more than having to argue amongst like 3 or 4 other people, and it's just really just like one direction.
So tell me about your musical tastes. Are you fans of bands that are kind of in your style, that sort of upbeat, energetic music, or do you like other kinds of music?
Yeah, like you want to start with this one,
Yeah,
Jeff?
so, I mean, I've always been into, like, indie rock and, like, DIY bands, like, my whole life. But, like, I guess up-tempo, like, grungy rock bands is what I've always really gravitated towards. I just want to rock, you know?
Yeah, my dad is a musician, so I grew up listening to a lot of blues and jazz music, and then a lot of, like, '70s rock and roll, like Jimi Hendrix and stuff. But personally, I actually listen to a lot of metal. So that's mostly, if you'll see me asleep in the car, I'm usually just jamming out to some really
LeBron
some
sleeps
doom
to
metal.
death metal.
Yeah,
Like
basically.
literally, it just puts him right to sleep.
That's great. Wow. Interesting. And what about you, Katrina?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have always liked, kind of tunes with really awesome melodies and harmonies. And yeah, REM's a band we kind of talk about a lot, where like melodic bass lines. But I guess, I mean, when I was younger, really, I listened to a lot of classical music. I was a ballet dancer, so that was my introduction to music, was really a lot of classical, and then indie rock and all of that later. But yeah, so I guess kind of varied tastes.
Did the DIY scene down in Orlando play a part in you discovering music or picking up instruments?
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely
I think for all of us, not Orlando, sorry, but the DIY scene itself, probably.
Yeah.
and Fest in Florida. Like every year, 350 bands go play in Gainesville from all over the world at the Fest, it's called. And that's really going to Fest, actually, I think, kind of inspired Katrina to play in a band.
Yeah, at 100%. I had always kind of wanted to do it, but it was after Fest and I saw the community and just how many of my friends were there that I was could actually picture myself on that side of it for the first time, and was like, oh, this is really rad. I'm going to learn to play an instrument. And that it really did spark kind of that desire and that inspiration to do it.
That's great. All right. So what can you tell me about the DIY scene in Orlando or Florida in general? What do you think is going on down there?
It's amazing right now. Mm-hmm. And I think not even just Orlando, all of Florida is kind of one big awesome DIY scene. With
Miami to
Tampa and Jacksonville and South Florida. There's bands like Woolbright and Bobby Kid and Palomino Blonde and Teen Divorce and Snacking, and the list goes on. And it's
definitely
just
Dikembe.
Of course, Dikembe is one of the they opened doors, for a lot of us in that scene. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a really incredible scene. I feel pretty lucky to be surrounded by so much talent, and I think we're all kind of inspiring each other in the music that we make, which is really cool.
So is Florida do you consider it one big sort of DIY music culture that has lots of cross-pollination?
I do, yeah, because I really do think it's not necessarily separate scenes. Everyone, especially, it's so easy to kind of tour around Florida. Everyone does that a bunch, and it really does kind of all just kind of one conglomerate of just awesome DIY music.
Yeah,
I think Florida is one giant alligator, and every band is a tooth that shreds.
Every band is a tooth that shreds.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
That's there you go. That's the
That
perfect.
could go on a shirt.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. All right. Okay. Well, again, expert timing. Thank you guys so much for coming. And what we do is we end every interview with a pick from the band. So we ask you to pick out somebody you ran across playing live that you'd like to give a shout out to, and then we'll end the interview with a song from them.
Whoa.
Okay.
I would like to shout out Gabe from Woolbright. Hands down, one of the best black drummers I have ever seen in my entire life. Hands down.
Woolbright. Is that one of the metal bands, or is that?
No.
Their drummer is.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah,
Okay. Woolbright. Well, thank you.
Woolbright.
We'll go out on a song from them.
Heck yeah.
Anything else you want to mention?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought everybody got to pick a
No.
band.
Woolbright's
No,
great.
I am happy.
We all love Woolbright.
I am happy with the
I'm
Woolbright
sorry.
pick. We love them. They're good friends of ours.
Yeah.
The only other thing, I guess, we're playing in Lancaster tonight, which isn't too far at Kaleidoscope Records. Yeah, and we've got all the social media stuff. So if you like it, follow us, email us, say hi, all that good stuff.
All right, Katrina, Gibran, and Jeff. Thank you so much for being here. Expert timing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cool. All right. All good?
So now Questlove walked right in between us and was like, "Excuse me," and I just went, "Oh," and then Tom did the cool nod, and Quest nodded at Tom, but I was like,